Hi there. My name is Mark Jordan, and it's my pleasure today to take you through how Signal can protect your cloud infrastructure. In this video, we'll talk through how Signal is integrated with identity providers and cloud service providers in order to get the right access at the right time while the user's signing in. We'll then talk about how we can evaluate access continuously as a result of our integrations with systems of record. Namely, in this demo, we're going to talk about XDR vendors like CrowdStrike and Microsoft Defender and how they inform the context that might cause Signal to take access away from AWS, GCP, or Azure, the systems we're demonstrating in this video. So let me show you a little what that looks like. Here we have the Signal dashboard. You can see in the third pane, we're integrated with AWS, GCP, and Azure, as well as Okta. On the rightmost pane, we're integrated with a number of different systems of record that we're continuously ingesting data from in order to evaluate context. These are informing the policies as to who can access what data inside of these clouds, but also whether Signal should take that access away when the time is right, based on specific signals that we might get. So let me show you a little what that looks like from an end user perspective. Here I have Alice, and she's sitting on the Okta sign-in screen. She's already signed in to a device with her Gmail account. Now I'm going to sign in to the Okta page. And from the dashboard in Okta, I have access to all three of those cloud environments. And I'm going to sign into each of those. I'm going to sign into Azure, and this is going to force me for 2FA. And I'm going to sign into AWS and GCP as well. Now, during this sign-in process, Okta is calling into Signal to evaluate what access an end user should have and being able to sort of package those roles and those claims back into the tokens as they sign into these cloud service providers. And so I can see I've successfully signed into GCP, I've signed into AWS, and I've signed into Microsoft as well. I'm going to go directly to the Azure portal here though as well, because that's really what we're talking about here. So across all three of those clouds, we've determined that Alice should have access, and we've granted her the right roles, permissions, whatever the case may be. Now, imagine for a second that Alice does something a little bit fishy. And in this case, what I'm thinking might be fishy is signing into Azure with a Tor browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, from my mobile device, from the same Okta page. Now, once this sign-in happens, Azure's going to detect that, hey, this is unlike Alice, signing in from an anonymized IP address using a browser that it's not familiar with. And as a result of that, it's going to flag Alice. Now, from Signal's standpoint, we're going to notice that that user's been flagged, that an incident's been raised, and that the sign-in risk has been elevated. And we're going to take some action. And so let me show you a little bit about what that action's going to do. If I come over to Signal's KPub, and I look at the rules I have established here, I have remediate cloud environments and devices as one of my rules. And so here, I can see that when a risky user is detected, we're going to revoke an AWS session for that user, all AWS sessions. We're going to revoke all Azure AD sessions. We're going to delete the user's session inside of Google Cloud Platform using Workforce Identity Federation. We're going to issue a request to wipe the account from any device where risky activity has happened. And we're going to sign the user out of their identity provider. In this case, this is Okta. And so we're going to take all of these remediation actions that are very targeted as a result of that risky device activity. So in just a few moments, what I'd expect is that Azure should detect that something strange has happened and flag that as an incident inside of Microsoft Defender. And so if I refresh this page, what I'm expecting is to see some incidents being raised for that Alice user. This will just take a second to refresh the Microsoft page as it goes and collects all of that information. But we know that Alice has been doing something a little bit strange. And we can see a lot of activity in here. This is currently filtered to status as any. I'm just going to filter it for status is new. And I can see there's been a range of alerts raised as a result of this activity from Alice. Now, I just heard that it sounds like my device has detected this as well. And it says that account action is required for Alice at Signal demos. So if I flick over to Alice's device in Google Cloud Console, I can see that the device is in the process of being wiped. And that's the result of that activity that Alice has participated in through the Tor browser. If I come over to Alice's active signed in session, what I expect is that my access in some of these systems will now be starting to be revoked. So you'll see I have no access in AWS any longer. Inside of GCP, I can see that I've been completely kicked out of GCP. And if I try and do things inside of Entra, I can see that my session is expired. Finally, what we expect is that if I refresh the the Okta dashboard, my session has also been revoked from there. So to recap, in this demo, we've gone to each of the 3 cloud service providers, AWS, Azure, and GCP, and revoked Alice's session as a result of risky sign-in activity. We've reached out to the identity provider and forced logout. And the next time Alice signs in, will require strong authentication to get back in. We've also reached out to the device and initiated an account wipe from that device. Now that requires Alice to come back, reprove her identity, and undergo any additional checks an administrator might require. So I hope you enjoyed this demo. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much.